All right, good morning or good afternoon, depending on whether you're going to see this video. I'm not sure when, morning class or afternoon class, but thank you for having me um, into your, is it Management 210 with Professor Stagliano. So it's still kind of strange for me to say that. As I talk about myself a little bit, Mr. Stagliano, Professor Stagliano, and I go way back. Um, so it's kind of still strange to call him that, but it's awesome at the same time. So unfortunately, we are doing this through video. Last time we did this, we were able to come into the classroom, which was really cool. But at the same time, I'm sure you're going to see some videos for some really good people, really good colleagues, and former classmates of Professor Stagliano as well. So last time we were in, did a whole lot of different discussions about leadership and what that looks like in various industries. So Professor Stagliano was kind enough to provide us with a bunch of questions to kind of go over. Apologize if this comes off a little different. I'm not really used to filming myself so much. So a little bit about myself first. My name is Adam Irvine, and I am a high school history teacher at Norristown Area High School. I've been there now for 21 years, and I also went to high school there. So it's a little strange being back there, but pretty cool at the same time. Some of you may be from Norristown or the area. Some of you may know a little bit about the school. It's an interesting school. It's a suburban school with more of a city feel. Um, Very diverse population as well. We've had some ups and downs in recent years. Hopefully, we're on the upswing again. Okay, but I will talk about that a little bit as I go along too. Apologize if I'm switching my eyes, but I'm looking at the screen as well to try to answer the questions. So, cool thing too. I also went to Widener University. That's how I know Professor Stagliano. I graduated I started in 1998. I graduated in 2002. Can't believe it's been that long. Very happy my decision to go to Widener. My brother was actually a senior at Widener, so I was able to go and hang out quite a bit. And he was in this fraternity called Tau Kappa Epsilon that I eventually joined as well and met people. Some of the people you're going to be seeing videos from as well, but I also met Mr. Stagliano. So it's really neat that we're still in touch after all these years. A lot of us are from the school, and I cherish my time at Widener University so much. It's my happy place. I love being there, love going back there whenever I can, and just enjoy it while you can, guys. Enjoy it while you're there. People say you don't know that you're in the best times of your life until you're out of them. Okay, so you guys really are in the best time of your life. No doubt there's still some really cool stuff coming up. Having a family, career, all that stuff is really cool, but you're never going to get those years back. So truly, truly cherish them. All right. So a little bit more about myself. Again, I said I'm a history teacher at Norristown Area High School. And actually, when I started at Widener University, I was a business major. So I was taking some of these courses that you have now. I realized early on that business wasn't for me. When I was in high school, I was involved in DECA, Future Business Leaders of America, all that kind of stuff, and I love that stuff. But I took a history course at Widener with an amazing professor, and I really thought to myself, wow, this is pretty cool. Then I took another course with another history professor. I said, wow, this is really cool. And then end of my sophomore year, I decided to switch to history. I've since gone on to Westchester University, have a master's degree in history as well. The goal was to become a history professor at some point, but doctorate, it was a long time, 7 years with no pay. I just couldn't handle that, but I'm okay where I am now. I said 21 years at Norristown Area High School, and I actually also went there as well. But I've probably about 9 years left of teaching. That doesn't mean I'm going to be done working. But yeah, I also work part time at Home Depot in the summers. And I smile when I say that because it is truly, I love my teaching job, but I really love my job at Home Depot as well. I was supposed to start, it's just a summer position, and I love it so much. I work a couple times a week. So I'm actually going to bring the leadership of two different places in today, not just my teaching, but Home Depot as well. So let's get into the questions. We don't have a lot of time. So discuss what it means to be a leader. So some of the things I think of when I think of leadership, I think of somebody who has vision, somebody who has purpose, somebody who has more of influence and not control, somebody that gives their employees empowerment, doesn't take power from them. Communication is always going to be paramount whenever you're in leadership. And I'll bring up examples of this as I go along as well. And then accountability. There's a lot of leaders out there who don't take accountability for their actions, only take accountability for the things when things go right. But a good leader takes accountability for when things go wrong as well. And then adaptability. So even this presentation right now, Mr. Professor Stagliano would have loved us to come in. It didn't happen. We had to pivot. Okay, we had to be adaptable, and we had to figure out a different way to convey this message to you as well. So kudos to him. So there's some of the words and things I think of when I think of leadership. Next question is summarize what people want and organizations need from their leaders. Sure. So I listened to the older gentleman. I work at Home Depot the other day. He's 84 years old, was a Korean war veteran and Vietnam War veteran from Virginia, type of old man you don't mess with. But he's seen a lot of different leaders in his day. And we have a newer leader, a newer manager at Home Depot who's still kind of learning the ropes a little bit, but might not turn out to be management material. And he had a great quote the other day when we were discussing this manager, and he said, "When I ask somebody what time it is, I don't need an explanation of how clocks work or how they're made." And what he was getting at is that he just wants the answer. He wants it direct. He wants you to be confident in your answer and not give word salads or beat around the bush and just give direct answers. Not everybody likes that style of management. Sometimes it can seem abrupt, it can seem abrasive, but he's the type of guy, military guy, who wanted a straight answer. And depending, I guess, what people are looking for is not necessarily just how you do it, but make sure that you're confident in your answer, you have the answer, and if you don't, that you're willing to go admit that you don't and go find the answer for you. So I think transparency is definitely something people are looking for in a leader. Just be upfront. We're adults. We can handle the truth. Give an example of my school as well. We've had some rough times this year, really rough times. A couple weeks ago, we were on lockdown, and there was rumors all over the place that there was a gun in the building. Turns out there most likely was. But our administration tried to beat around the bush a little bit, hiding details, hiding timelines, and things that didn't have to happen. And it created a lot of distrust between the teachers and administration when they could have just told us the answer. They could have been upfront with us. We're adults and we can handle that. So that's just one instance of where I think people are looking for leaders that are going to be upfront with them, tell them the answer, be transparent. And again, if they don't have the answer, go find the answer. Explain how a good vision helps you be a better leader. So you have to have a plan. I think Mike Tyson said it great that everybody has a plan until they're punched in the face. And that's so true. Again, that comes back to pivoting and being adaptable as well. But you have to have a plan going into anything. Those of you who have played sports or been in any type of theater or anything, you don't go into a play without a script or a director. You don't go into a sports game without having to practice and having plays set up. So a good vision is paramount. A vision, you can have a vision, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good vision. But at the same time, if your vision that you come with doesn't work, then again, you have to be adaptable, you have to pivot, and you have to rework that vision. And a good leader is somebody who can admit that. And unfortunately, in my school right now, we don't have leaders who can admit that. And it looks like our leadership might be changing soon. Our superintendent was not renewed for those reasons. He wasn't transparent. He didn't have the answers that we wanted. And if he didn't have them, he didn't go out of his way to get them for us. It almost came to a point where there was job paralysis because he didn't have those answers and wasn't able to admit that he lost control and he needed help. And I think that's a good aspect of a leader as well, is when they know they're in over their head, They know they need help for the betterment of the group, the betterment of the company, the betterment of the school. And it shouldn't be about you. It shouldn't be about your ego. It should be about making the company or the school or the organization or whatever you're in better. So identify sources of power in organizations. So I really think, and as a history teacher, I think about this a lot. So I think about the social contract and how we have a contract with our government. We allow our government to govern us. It's kind of a give and take. We allow them to govern us, and in exchange, we give them our support as long as we are safe, as long as there is order. And I think once that social contract breaks down, whereas the power really comes from the people, it comes from the employees, it comes from the teachers, it comes from whatever organization, they're empowering you to lead. And once that breaks down, once that social contract is gone, then the leadership is basically null and void. So I really think the power in organization comes from its employees. They are giving you the power to lead. I talk about this in my class a lot, that right now we're talking about the Gilded Age in one of my classes and the power of striking, and how much power that employees really have and how much power consumers really have. We don't realize how much power we do have, that we give these leaders, and that it can be taken away very easily. So I truly believe the source of power in organization is the workers. That may sound very Marxist or whatever right now, being from a social studies teacher, but I do believe that. List personal characteristics that contribute to leader effectiveness. So just some personal characteristics: being trustworthy, knowing that if you go to somebody, you can trust them with the answer, knowing that as a leader or a manager, you're not going around and talking about other employees. And I've been there. I've been where I've had assistant principals that I could not trust, because I know they would go almost like a catty high school kid in itself, going around and talking like they would there, as they're one of the employees, and that's not good. There's a great line in Saving Private Ryan, and they're talking about being angry about going to, those who've never seen that movie, go see it, about going to save this kid, and they're complaining. And Tom Hanks' character, he says, gripes go up. Okay, I don't talk to you guys about leadership; they go up. And I think that's a very important part. There's too many leaders who want to be liked instead of leading. They want to get in the mix with all the employees. And I have a lot of that right now at Home Depot and at Norristown. Being a leader can be a lonely place. I know a lot of teachers who go into being an assistant principal just to get out of the classroom, and that's really not a good thing. We have too many leaders who have become assistant principals because their time in the classroom is done. And people always ask me all the time, do you want to be an administrator? And I say no, because I don't want to be an administrator. And the day I want to leave the classroom just to be an administrator, that's not good, because then I'm not an effective leader. My heart's not into it. But I have assistant principals and principals that knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to get into that. That was their thing. And I know I can think of one assistant principal that he hated being around the guys. He was always coming into the social studies meetings, kind of trying to talk like one of us. He missed that camaraderie amongst the teachers, but it can be lonely on top. But it's something that you definitely need to want to do if you're doing that. What else do we have here? Describe behaviors that will make you better leader and know when situations call for them. So, definitely when it comes to being a charismatic leader, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. You can have somebody that is full of life, full of personality. You gravitate towards them. They make you feel good. They give you the good games and all that stuff. But at the same time, and this also goes into number 7 here, a charismatic leader only is good if they can act on that, if they have the leadership behind them, if they have the skills behind them, if they have the teeth behind them. We see charismatic leaders all the time in politics. They talk a good game. They can talk anybody into anything. They sound wonderful, but there's no substance behind them. So, kind of like wolf in sheep's clothing sometimes, and that can be a very fine line. It's great to have charisma. It's great to have that personality, but if you're not backing it up with your actions, then that means nothing. I had an assistant principal one time that was the driest person in the world. Not much there if you were talking to them, but they handled their business. They got everything done that they were supposed to get done. They did their job. Okay. And in times of crisis or anything, they would lead. Their personality would come out. Not so much their charisma, but their leadership personality as well. Describe behaviors that will make you okay. So we talked about that. Trustworthiness, definitely a big one. Identify opportunities to lead. So a lot of people think that there has to be some type of title when it comes to leadership, that you have to have a title, you have to be a manager or director or whatever. But there are so many times in your life that you have the opportunity to lead. And you can start practicing these things now, guys, just amongst your friend groups, amongst your peers in class. Start practicing different types of leadership. Start taking the lead in things, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself when it comes to it. But you have to want to do it, and not everybody is a leader, and that is fine as well. But it's also knowing yourself, knowing if you're a leader or not. There's some just great employees out there that you can lean on to get things done. They necessarily don't want to be in charge of people, but you know that you can handle, you can rely on them. And that's another major part of being a leader, is being able to delegate, knowing talent when you see it, knowing when to, I have too much on my plate, when to be able to disseminate some of those responsibilities. Too often, many of our leaders take on too much and it doesn't get done. So I would say a great leader is somebody who can um, disperse all of those things amongst different people, understand talent, see when it is, cultivate that talent, bring that talent alone. You really have to leave your ego at the door when you are a leader. Too many leaders see employees as threats. They see as them coming for their jobs. And that's insecurity. And that's another thing I guess you can't be when you're a leader, is insecure. Heavy is the head that wears the crown type stuff, right? You're going to get backlash. People are going to criticize you. It can be a lonely place, all right? But in the end, if you are showing your people that you're trustworthy, you're carrying out your role with fidelity, um, those things go away. People aren't talking about you behind your back. People are praising you. You can see when people are kissing up to you and when they actually truly believe that you are a leader. We have at Home Depot, we have a newer kid there. I say kid, I'm sorry, I'm 45, guys. He's probably like 24. But he has risen pretty quickly, and a lot of other employees or managers talking about, and it's has to a lot to do with how much he kissed up to people, and he's young, he'll learn it, but his leadership abilities right there aren't right now there. His ego's getting bigger. He's got the title, and sometimes that happens. So if you are somebody who just wants the title, it's going to be a lonely place up top, and it's not going to be good for you. If you truly want to be a leader, it's about your team. It's about making your people better, bringing people along. One of the greatest things that NFL coach can have is a coaching tree, that people who are under him have now gotten other jobs, and then people under them will get other jobs, as opposed to there's some NFL coaches who never want their subordinates to be better than them. And that's an ego thing. And I think you really do have to check your ego at the door. Discover how to further your own leadership development. And that's things, getting involved in school. I was in a fraternity, and Professor Stagliano was was our president, and he led us. He led that fraternity. He grew it. He got it better. And that's something I know he talks about a lot. He never envisioned himself in a fraternity. He never envisioned him doing that stuff. But once he was in it, he realized, oh, wow, I like this. I'm pretty good at it. People respect me. So there's a lot of opportunities on campus to show your leadership. Get involved in clubs, activities. If you're in sports, if you have a job, little things that you can start practicing now, even on your dorm floor. Okay, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, step up, and people will start gravitating towards you because you're somebody who can get things done. Um, so we're at the 20-minute mark. I didn't want to make this too long. I really wish I was in front of you guys, where we could elaborate and have some more questions. Maybe down the road this semester we could get in there at the same time. I hope you enjoyed this. Uh, and if there's ever any questions or you ever want to talk to me, maybe about teaching or anything to do with your role in school, Professor Tagliano can provide you with my email address. I would love to talk to you. This is what I do. I love talking to young people about their future, about what they want to do. Because it really does start now, guys. Okay, you have to take this thing seriously. It's just a little. I know I'm being old, okay, but I know this AI thing is taking over. Okay. And I know the temptation is there to just have this do everything for you. But guys, you're paying a lot of money to that school. I just got done paying that school off. So um, take your education seriously. Don't let a computer do everything for you. You're not going to grow. You're not going to mature. You're not going to be the leader you want to be if you are letting AI make all of your decisions. Okay. It has to come from here once in a while, and you have to act on that. Okay. I wish everybody well in the rest of their semester, rest of your college career. Remember what I said in the beginning. This is probably the most magical time of your life. I owe a lot to Widener University. I met my wife there. I have two daughters because of Widener. I have a career because of Widener. I'm in my passion, history, because of Widener. So really appreciate why you're there. You're in a great school, and hopefully spread that message to other people. And listen to Mr. Stagliano. He's a great leader. He did great things for us. And there's a reason why I'm still in touch with him 20 some years after we graduated. All right, guys, take care. Good luck. God bless.